Of course, the kids that are able to come in and gain access to services every day or even a few times a week are of course seeing progress. When it comes to kids that aren't able to gain access to those supports on a regular basis, things stay fairly stagnant. And then also with a lot of our kids, if they're not having access to therapy, things actually start regressing.
She has a physio who comes every second week, and it's not enough.
We've had the opportunity, thanks to the support of our family, to have 4 intensives for Leo this year, and we're planning to try to keep going with that. We also come in once a week for physio, and then the next week we'll do speech, and we kind of rotate it.
So if people do have that access to go frequently, you see that progress and that confidence faster.
Because his condition is very possibly neurodegenerative, our goal is to bring his baseline up to as high as it possibly can be so that he has the ability to reach his full potential, whatever that is.
With Olive's care, she was having seizures recently, so we've got that under control now, but there was a lot of missed school. In order to do 2 weeks of intensive therapy, my husband took 2 weeks off work, and it's a hard financial burden on us when we have so many additional things that we need to purchase. And we're a one-income family. I'm a teacher, but I don't know how I'm going to go back to work. It's hard.
We always look at okay, where they should be. This was a huge concern for me in terms of where she should be. And actually right now too, she's not talking at the 2.5 years of age where she should be talking. And so of course I'm like, oh my goodness, we gotta, get support.
Wasn't until we began working with a speech therapist with Caleb when he was about 3 years old that we learned ways to communicate with him. Because up until that point, because Caleb is nonverbal, I just assumed that I would never be able to communicate with my son. And then once we started working with the speech therapist, we learned many different methods. And all of a sudden now, Caleb is able to share with us his preferences. He's able to make choices. He can let us know whether he wants to go to the park or he wants to stay home, what book he wants us to read, what pajamas he wants to wear. We hear stories of kids using their touch devices to say "I love you" to their parents for the first time in their lives.
We all have no control over how we were born, where we were born, our condition when we were born, It's literally the birth lottery, and I think a lot of people forget about that and just assume that, they can just pick themselves up by their bootstraps. If they try harder, then, they can make it work. I'm sure they can, And that's kind of a narrative that definitely has a lot of holes in it, and it's not grounded in reality. But yeah, just the number of barriers that exist, especially for marginalized groups within the disability community, newcomers, people of color, low-income people, LGBTQ people. There's just different barriers that they face on top of supporting their child with a disability.